Well, we've got a chance to talk with the Sauk Center Athletic Director, Scott Bergman, and also girls basketball coach. And he has an announcement for us today. So can you tell us what that is?
Yeah, Nobby, I have made the decision to retire as activities director here in Sauk Center, and also, as of today, retire as the head girls basketball coach.
So can you give us a little more background on how you reached those decisions?
Yeah, I let Mr. Peschel know a couple months ago regarding the activities director job, just so that he would have some time to post it and find a good applicant. Regarding the coaching, as I always do, I always give the season a couple weeks just to see how I feel, and just decided that it was time. I mean, each season kind of takes a toll, and just decided this was a good time to retire.
But visited with the returning players this morning and sent something out to parents via email this morning to let everybody know that I'm retiring from coaching as well. Being the head girls basketball coach here has been a blast. Been doing it for 23 years and was the assistant boys coach for 10 years prior to that. And it's just been a lot of fun. Each year takes a toll, and as I get older and older, it gets tougher and tougher. So, that was a hard decision because it's been a big part of my life, but just decided it was time.
And on the AD side too, how about that?
Yeah, I've known for quite a while that I wanted to be in this role until I'm 62 years old, which I am, which qualifies me for a pension through TRA. So, that decision has been made really many, many years ago.
It would seem to me that I'll bet you this is going through people's heads that, you went to the state tournament and so now you're done. Is that the deal?
No, not at all. I mean, it's sure a great way to end a career, but that had very little impact on it. And what I do, Nobby, is every year I just and like I told the girls this morning, I just let things sit for a couple weeks after the year and see if there's anything left in the tank, so to speak. And it just, and my wife Rox knows this, how much time it takes. If I don't have enough energy to give it everything I've got, then I'd just be cheating the kids. And, like I said, it just felt like a good time to do that, state tournament or no state tournament.
Mm-hmm. So as you think back on all these years, I'm sure it's just a flood of memories that come back to you. How do you sort this all out? Do you think of certain games, players, or just whatever? How do you sort that out?
Yeah, that's going to be a fun process. As I look around my office, there's things that remind me of different teams. Got to think back to that year where we won the state tournament about 7 or 8 years ago and went 33-0. But this was a good year to kind of reflect on a lot, just because of the 500 wins and that celebration that we had that one night where a bunch of players came back. That was a really, really fun night. So that got the memories going.
And that's where I'm kind of staying away from asking you about players, because there's a list of them, aren't there?
Oh my goodness. And every time a season ends, I update our record book, and we had some girls this year that are entrenched now on the record books. But man, I tell you what, you just start looking through the teams, and I've been asked this question by several people. Give me your starting five for all the players you've coached, and that's not an easy task. I mean, I tell you what, you and I could sit here and have some fun with that and come up with a first team and a second team and a third team, and boy, I tell you what, that third team would be pretty good too.
Mm-hmm. But to do that, though, it's almost kind of unfair because basketball has changed through the years, hasn't it?
Absolutely. And our teams have changed over the years. I mean, I remember back when we didn't have any post players. I mean, that team that won the state tournament, our superstars were guards, and now all of a sudden these last several years we had TJ in the post and things. So you're right, the game's changed. Back in the day, you remember us playing full court all the time, just pressing, just because that's who we had. and that's been changing over the years.
And I'm sure you've developed relationships to where, you had a lot of those girls come back. Just tell us about what you see when you see somebody, and does that all come back to you immediately?
Yeah, it's really fun walking around this building because I see a lot of former players that are now working in our school. For example, my neighbor right next door is Jenna Klopaki Adams, and so that's a fun part of it, is just to see former players and how they are now in this profession. And boy, I tell you what, it really makes me proud.
I've also been asked this question too, and we can throw Sauk Center volleyball in there as well. How is it that Sauk Center volleyball and girls basketball is always so good? How do you answer that?
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of good players, first of all, and I think longevity in coaching helps in that area too. I mean, Jim has been doing it for years, and I've been doing it for years. So I think, as far as expectations, I think the players understand what we expect from them, and that's always helpful.
I've always put it this way: sisters and cousins.
Oh my goodness,
we've got a lot of them.
We do, yeah, we do. And you and I have talked that, if some of these families would have had a bunch of boys, our football team would have been really, really good too. So, no, for sure. I mean, we've had a lot of families, Klop Hockey Specials, Thiesens, and we can go on and on here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot. How many players have you coached?
Real good question. I mean, 23 times, 15, whatever that is, that's a good question. I have not put together a list of alumni for a while. I started doing that at one point, and I need to update that.
And again, I'm touching on remembering everything, but do some games or just gyms or just whatever come to your mind right away?
Yeah, I mean, Hollenbeck Hall holds a special place. I mean, we've played a lot of section finals on that court and just love that court. I mean, to me, one of the things that we've always tried to do is, okay, what do we need to do this year to get to the section finals? And whenever you get to that section final, you've got a chance to go to the state tournament. So, just getting to Hollenbeck Hall has always been memorable. And, we've probably been in that game 15 times over the years and been fortunate to win 10 of them, and some obviously we didn't. But, yeah, Hollenbeck Hall, and of course, every time you go down to the state tournament, Williams Arena, Target Center. I mean, that's where we won the state tournament that one year. I love that court.
And I'm sure, too, when you look at a Sauk Center girls' athletic ability, just to be able to handle those kind of moments, that's really instilled into them, isn't it?
Yeah, they've been in those situations time and again, and that's what I'm proud of this team, because this is a team. Past years where we've gone to the state tournament, there have been runs of 4 years in a row where you're right, the girls have been in that situation. Whereas this year's team, we didn't have anybody that had qualified for the state tournament. I think Sierra and TJ had played in a section final before. But that's what I was really proud of this team is they overcame not having that experience and really playing well down the stretch.
So as the girls basketball coach and through the years, how do you instill into a girl then, this is how we play Sauk Center girls basketball?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we really instill is you got to bring it every single day. I mean, every single day, you've got to work hard to get better. And, that's the mindset. That's the mentality that we tried to hammer home. And, it's worked pretty well for us.
And touching then on the AD side of it too, how have things changed, and where are you at right now as the Sauk Center Athletics here?
Yeah, I think we're in a good place. I mean, one of the things that we're always working on is filling coaching staffs, and it's a never-ending job, and honestly, it's become kind of a recruiting thing where we're going out and we're recruiting coaches, or I don't want to say talking them into them, but there's a lot of situations where we have an opening and we post it and we don't get anybody to apply, so we got to go out and so. I just think an athletic department is as good as its coaches and directors, and real proud of many of our coaches. And
I think you've learned through the years too. It's again, when you have positions, it's not like honestly people are lined up to do this, right?
No, being a head coach and this is something that we've talked about a lot. Is longevity in coaching is kind of a thing of the past. This is my 23rd year, and think about our coaching staff right now. James Schreiner has great longevity, Jim Klophocky as well. I don't know how many coaches other than those two have been doing it for more than 10 years. So, that's something that hopefully is not a thing of the past, but it seems like it.
And since I have you here too, can you give us an update on the gym?
Yeah, I tell you what, as we speak there, and I can't go in there and look at it right now because I don't have a mask on or whatever, right? They're taking asbestos out. But I'm told that the floor will be completely out tomorrow, and then they start grinding down the cement to make it smooth. So for the next group that comes in and puts the floor down.
And so new bleachers and new baskets too, right?
Yeah. New winching systems to put the baskets up and down. The baskets are the same. We did get new backboards for the main hoops, but the side baskets are the same. But the system to put them up and down is brand new and updated, and is safe.
So as you sit here now, and again, all these memories come back to you, and you make an announcement like this, no regrets, or how do you handle all of this?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I gave it a couple weeks, and I feel real good about the decision. I feel really good about, like I told the girls this morning, I'm looking forward to watching them next year because I think they're going to have a really good team, and looking forward to seeing how they progress.
And just to touch on too, what the future of both positions are decisions being made right now, or where do you stand?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the AD position is a little bit farther along in the process just because it was posted. I want to say end of January, something like that. I would expect that position will be filled probably sometime next week, and then the girls' basketball position just got posted today, along with the assistant coaching position. My longtime assistant Kent Gustafson is also retired, but I would think that they would move pretty quickly on that just because summer's right around the corner.
Say, I do want to touch more on Coach G too. Yeah. You've had a great relationship, haven't you?
Absolutely. Yeah, we've known each other for years, and he's just a huge basketball fan. Really got to know Kent. We go to the same church up in Long Prairie and have served on deacon boards together. And no, I mean, we're real good friends, and it's been a real privilege to have him coach side by side with me for the last 9 years.
And you mentioned your wife, Rox. I was thinking about that to describe Rox in one word. She's a piano teacher. She puts up with the girls' basketball. As an AD, I use the word patience with her. Is that a good word?
That's a real good word for Rox. And if you got to know her real well, you'd kind of smile at that because sometimes in certain instances she's not very patient. But no, you're right. She is very patient with me because she knows what I love to do and she knows how much it means to me, and she's just allowed me to do those things.
So the future for you is what? First of all, I know being a grandpa.
Yeah. My grandsons, Will and Eli, looking forward to spending some more time with them. Nabi, I want to find something else to do that makes a difference. I'm not one to just sit around on the couch and watch TV or anything like that. So I've got a few ideas of things that I might pursue, but really looking forward to what that is. And today I've enjoyed today in that I reached out to a bunch of my coaching colleagues and been getting a lot of texts and emails congratulating me and things. So it's been a fun day.
I remember saying to you a long time ago, will you ever catch Coach Dreyer with his record?
Well, the answer now is definitely no, but even, I mean, will that, records that will never be broken. You hate to go there, but I think we're safe in that one.
Yes, because you said at that time, no, I'll be retired by then.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Because you're over 500, he's over 1,000. You'd have to double this.
That's unbelievable. No, I tell you what, like I've told you, 30 wins, 30 straight years, and you're not there yet.
Mm-hmm. But again, you've had with relationships to other coaches too, though. Can you touch on that?
Yeah, and I called. I just talked to one of my good friends, TJ Super up in Perham, and those are the types of things where. And I told him, and Ryan Dusha reached out to me today, and Brian Kingery at Bold. What I'm looking forward to is now watching basketball through a different lens. I mean, we were watching the state boys tournament on TV, and Rox looked at me and said, what's going on? You're not writing stuff down. And that was kind of an indication to me that, maybe I am done because, usually when I watch basketball, I watch it to see what play I could get to make our teams better. But now I'm just kind of watching it just for the enjoyment.
How would you describe your coaching style in a game?
Well, first of all, I've always considered myself a defensive coach first, which is interesting because as a player, I hated to play defense. I wanted to score. But no, the best teams we've had have been really good defensively. So I would say defensively is where I've really emphasized.
Mm-hmm. So this has been quite a road here. I'm just thinking back. So you're a kid at Frazee High School, and you could throw the baseball pretty good. And so now you're going to go to college, and you get out of there. What were the dreams and aspirations at that time?
Yeah, I mean, I did not get into education right away. I was a computer programmer for the first 7 years of my career, and it was something where I didn't love it. It was okay. But when I got to work, I was kind of looking forward to going home. And, my dad was a longtime math teacher and coach. So I knew what that life was about. So I went back to school, got my teaching certificate. And of all places, I landed in Sauk Center and have been here ever since. And just have had a blast. I mean, I'm a streeter through and through.
So at that point, then, what made you stay in Sauk Center?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Greta at that time was real young. She was just a couple years old, and our school system really is what we loved. Really believed in our school system, and once Greta started school, we weren't going to go anyplace just because we just believed in the school system and really liked our leadership throughout the years. And once I started getting into some coaching, I coached with Charlie Waring on the baseball side and Don Peschel on the boys basketball side. Just really loved that aspect of it as well.
And to go then on the girls' side, how did you accept that, and how did that all work out then?
I made a decision at some point that I wanted to be a head coach. And I remember I applied for jobs outside of our school district because Don Peschel was entrenched as our head boys basketball coach. So I remember going to a few schools in the area to apply, and probably would have had an opportunity. But Rick Fisher caught wind because a AD called him and just asked about me. And then he said, hey, would you consider being the head girls coach? Because Tom Trutton at the time was getting close to the end of his career. And, after giving it some thought, I gave it a shot. And, you remember those first few years?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They were challenging. And in all honesty, I was thinking back then, is this really a good idea? Am I really cut out for this? And, I'm glad I gave it a few more years because once we got it going pretty good.
And to just the rise of, I think, female athletics. It was back in the day, girls basketball, Monday, Thursday.
Yep.
And it's like, hey, now it's pretty much on par with everything here.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was in high school, watching my sister play, and it was pretty much girls standing on both sides of the basket, kind of playing anti-over until something went in, right? But man, I tell you what, girls basketball, you watch the NCAA tournaments, you watch the WNBA, we've got it going.
Mm-hmm. So to summarize everything, it's been quite a ride, and we'd all like to thank you for just you as the coach and developing all these athletes, and I'm sure all the athletes would like to thank you for developing them and having that certain relationship that you've been able to have with them through the years. And so I guess overall, just from everybody here, thank you for what you've done.
I appreciate it, Nobby. It's been a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. All right. So that's been Scott Bergman. And again, just give us that announcement one more time on what you're doing here.
Yeah, I'm retiring from my position as activities director and then also head girls basketball coach.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.